it is my greatest pleasure this evening to welcome to the stage Brother Leo Muhammad.
Thank you. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Most Merciful, whether we say Allah, whether we say Jah, Jehovah, Yahweh, Elohim, whatever the name that we use to describe the Creator of the heavens and the earth, I bear witness that there is but one, and I bear witness that Muhammad is his messenger. I greet all of you in the greeting words of peace. We say it in the ancient tongue of Arabic, Assalamu alaikum. For those persons who may not know what those words mean, they simply mean, when translated from Arabic to English, peace be unto you. And that is the spirit in which I stand before you today. I want to begin by saying that we really need all of us to put our hands together and show tremendous appreciation for the organizers of this event. Can we please give it up for the organizers? Beautiful. To the mayor, councillors, and the representative from the police, and to all of you brothers and sisters and guests who are here to celebrate Black History Month, I really want to say that it's a very, very important celebration. And lots of people think they know something about Black history, but in truth, Black history is something of an underground movement. It's been suppressed, it's been hidden, it's been obscured. And that's why this is really important, because there's lots of people in contemporary Britain, 2017, wondering why so many Black youth, for instance, are getting into big trouble on these streets out there and appear to be completely out of control. Well, I've got to say to you, there was a wonderful human being who lived on our planet not that long ago by the name of Marcus Messiah Garvey. And Marcus Messiah Garvey said this. He said, a people without knowledge of their history is like a tree without roots. Now, if you see a tree that is not rooted, that means effectively that tree is dead. That tree is not being nourished, it's not being fed. And unfortunately, the reality is today that most of the youth coming from an African Caribbean background have been completely cut off and severed from history. They know nothing about the tremendous accomplishments of Black people. Now I want to ask you a question. I, like you, I didn't really go to school, if I'm completely honest with you, but I did spend a few days in a few schools in this country. But I want to ask you, can you remember your history lessons in school in this country? Can you remember being taught about the Vikings? Can you remember that? Can you remember 1066? Can you remember being taught about the Romans? And can you remember any of the things that the Romans did when they came here? Apart from invasion and conquer, what else did they say the Romans really brought to barbarian Britain? Because that's the way they characterized Britain when they came here. They said they brought roads. What else? Something to do with cleanliness, baths, and we can go on. And the Romans effectively said that they civilized Britain. And we say, okay, that's interesting history. And so now we go and we start studying Roman history. And when we study Roman history, the Romans say, well, we got all our stuff from the Greeks. Interesting. So we have a look at the Greeks and we see Pythagoras and the boys. We see Homer and some of the great Greek philosophers and some of the great Greek architecture that comes out of that region of the Mediterranean. You say, wonderful, that's wonderful. But then when you speak to the Greeks and you ask them, well, where did you get this great Athenian civilization from? The Greeks said, oh, we went to Egypt. Where's Egypt? See, that was really weak.
Say it again.
Africa.
Say it again.
Let me tell you something, brothers and sisters. This is really important. See, we got to get away from this thing of being embarrassed about who we are. We are not black people because we are cursed. We are black people because we are the first people on the earth. If you go to all of the historians, all of the anthropologists who have gone in search of human origins, human beginnings, they don't stop very long in Europe. They have to make their way to Africa. And when they get to Africa, they find the oldest bones ever recorded on our planet. We are the mothers and fathers of human beings on our planet. What is the problem today? Why are so many people afraid to acknowledge that black people are the mothers and fathers of civilization? Some people would rather say, well, I'll be a monkey's uncle. Some people would rather equate themselves with monkeys than to appreciate that black people were the ones who built the pyramids. Do we appreciate that we built the pyramids? No, that was weak again. You got to make some noise over these things. Do you know that today, in the modern era, with all of the mathematical genius that they have, they cannot build a pyramid?
That's right.
They don't understand to this day what type of technology would enable such huge rocks to be so precisely cut to the degree where you can't get a sheet of paper between each of those rocks. That's the kind of precision we're talking about. This is really important, because far from the idea that these Africans were running around in Africa with a bone through our nose, swinging through the trees, and contributed nothing to history, that is so far removed from reality. And the reason, by the way, I want you to look at me, because I know I'm looking sharp tonight. If the mayor wasn't wearing all that bling, I'll be outshining them. They're just about outshining them because of the bling, the chains, right? But I want you to understand something. Because we're taught that we were a people who were slaves. And whenever they talk about black history, they want to start at slavery. No. Long before slavery, black people built ancient civilizations all over the globe. And today, you got people traveling the globe and discovering the things that we built and we left.
Yes, sir.
Look, they say that we were savages, we weren't doing nothing, and so they enslaved us to do us a favor to bring us into the Western Hemisphere. Sounds quite plausible. But then when you examine it, during slavery, and you see, I think the mayor said, and a couple of other people said, and the councillor said that he was Googling earlier on to find out about Black History Month. Well, I do suggest that when this is over today, you go and Google some of what Brother Leo Muhammad is going to share with you today. Because nothing is hidden today. I'm not here to make up stories and just to try and ego massage anybody or make myself feel good telling some lies. These are actual facts. The layout of Washington, D.C. was laid out by blacks. The White House was built by blacks. All of the street lighting that we now take for granted, the person who invented street lighting was a black man. The first open heart surgery was performed by a black man. The first clock, it was wooden, but it was built by a black man. And all of this was around the time that they said we were just slaves. Understand something. They say that they found us as savage. But during slavery, we were the ones who was in the big house doing the cooking. We did the cooking. If you're going to get a savage out of the jungle and tell him to come in your kitchen and cook, no, you're not going to do that. The savage is going to take the food and run out of the house. But we were the ones who were able to cook. It was us, it was the black woman who was the seamstress, who was designing the beautiful dresses for the masses' wife. We designed it, we stitched it, we put it together to make her look good, while we wore what they call burlap or crocus bar. The Jamaicans in the audience know me talk about crocus bar. We were savages, yet we would take the little white babies that were birthed by the white family and put the little white baby on the black breast. You're gonna put your baby on a savage breast? Or did you know that there was some beautiful substance in that milk? We gotta get real about this. This is the reality of what's hidden about us, and if the children don't know what they've accomplished, who they were, what they did, where they're coming from, what contributions we've made, the children are walking around thinking that they're just, I'm just, a ragamuffin, yeah. Me a street, but what they call him, roadman, me a roadman. No. We are tremendously beautiful people. Some of you, when you see people like me and I'm talking like this, well that sounds a bit radical, babe. That sounds a bit bad. That sounds a bit wrong. And some people, I think I can hear violence. No. Go and see and study anthropology and history, and you cannot show in the 21st century one gun, one knife, one weapon of mass destruction with a black man's name on it.
That's right.
We don't build them.
No, we don't.
We don't build them. You can't show in history where we left Africa and went and attacked other people in their nations, subjugated them, dehumanized them, and enslaved them, and left them as nothing. You can't show it. Because it's not our nature.
That's right.
It's not our character. We don't do that. And so, just because I may speak strong, don't get afraid, don't be nervous. Look how beautiful I look. I look like you when you're going to your top class dues. See, they want to make us feel like, some people want to make us feel like they're doing us a favor by giving us a month. A month.
Go ahead.
You can't celebrate Black History in a month.
Thank you.
And we don't even try.
That's right.
Black History is 12 months a year, 24 hours, 7 days a week. The geneticist, Mendel, Mr. Mendel, the Caucasian white man, Mr. Mendel says this. He says light skin is recessive. Light eyes are recessive. Black skin or dark skin is dominant.
That's right.
Dark eyes is dominant. You can take the recessive from the dominant, but you cannot get the dominant from the recessive. What that means scientifically is that you're looking, the oldest white person in here, you are now listening to Daddy.
Hello.
This is Daddy talking. This is the reality. This is not being disrespectful. I am your father. Think about it like that. And you know, we in the Caribbean, when I was growing up, you couldn't backchat your parents. You couldn't be rude. You know, like you tell your child something now, they slam the door, maybe break the glass in the door. You could not do that in the Caribbean. We could end up dead. The Caribbean parents know what I'm talking about. I'm telling you the truth, right? When I was growing up, you could get beaten with anything. You see, like, you know, because I'm contrasting this with how white children grew up. They did Floyd Mayweather had the camera running around his gym one day, and they were asking all the black boxers, all the black trainers, all the white trainers, all the white boxers, the same question about basically how they were disciplined when they were growing up. And every single black person in that gym, bar none, talked about getting beaten with the cords, getting beaten with the ironing board, getting beaten with anything their parents could put their hands on. That was what you got beaten with that day. That's how we got beaten. I got beaten like that. Yeah. If I did something wrong, you see your dad start looking for something.
Is it got beaten by a teacher?
And my teacher in Jamaica, who's I don't know why we called her Mother, but her name was Mother. She was a very big lady, and she walked permanently with a leather strap over her shoulder. The same leather strap that you use in the barber shop for sharpening up the blade. That's what she walked with permanently on her shoulder. And we would be reading a book like Dick and Jane, and you get one word wrong. Buck up! That's how we were taught. Now, I'm not advocating that. It's kind of abusive. Yeah, we're not advocating that. However, the extreme is that when I came here and I went to my white friend's house, a little girl that I used to know, she was really young. I think she was about 12 at the time, and I was similar kind of age. And then one evening, her mum came into her room where we were sitting down in a conversation, and her mum said, "Carol, you know, I think it's about time that your friends were leaving now," which I thought, in my mind, I'm thinking, that's a reasonable request. So I'm on my feet, ready to leave. Carol says, "Sit down, sit down. This is Carol. How dare you come in my room and tell me?" Now, I'm expecting her mum's head to just explode. Like that movie, Scanners. She basically chased her mum out of the room. Not in the black community. The scripture says, "Honor your mother and father, that your days may be long." And I'm saying, with all due respects, black history is something that everybody needs to take another look at. Because it's really important, because if you really understood who we are as a people and what we've achieved and what we've done. You know, like sometimes I'll be dressed like this, and I dress like this all the time. Sometimes I dress like this when I go to bed. But I'm dressed like this most days. I just like it. I think it's a very beautiful, dignified way for one to carry oneself. Similar to how our brothers and sisters look when they came off the Windrush. But today, we got our children walking around with their underpants out. See, think about, contrast this, because there's something gone drastically wrong. And it's really, really important that we all take another look at what's going wrong in our communities. And a fundamental major part of it is this lack of knowledge of self, this lack of knowledge of history. And also, we are being forced to deny ourselves. This is wrong. It's wrong. And I'm saying to the police, if you really want to see a beautiful, vibrant black community, we have to encourage young black people to get a knowledge of themselves, not try to fit them in. A square peg in a round hole. They don't fit like that. I was a really crazy one when I was growing up as a teenager. I didn't know whether I was coming or going as a youth in this country until I was exposed to the type of thing I'm sharing with you tonight, and it gave me a profound knowledge of myself. And for the first time in my life, I could look in the mirror and actually feel good about the person that I could see. I could see. Yes, sir. Thank you, brother. Look how sharp he looks. Look how beautiful he looks. That's how we should look. Thank you, sir. For the first time, I could look in the mirror. And by the way, when I say that, I'm not joking. You see these lips? Everybody, can you see my lips? When I was growing up on the streets of the UK, they used to call us rubber lips. One of the things I heard when I came from Jamaica, I heard, "Nigger mind, go black home, you be all white in the morning." I mean, there's loads of stuff, loads and loads of stuff. That was standard. But when I look in the mirror today and I see these lips, I am excitedly in love. Me love these lips. When I look in the mirror and I see this nose, you see this nose? This nose helps you breathe more easily, no matter the altitude. When I go to the Caribbean, I go to Africa, I go sunbathing. Me want get blacker. Understand this. You've got to stop making people make you feel ashamed of who you are. It is wrong. It is wrong. that you can go in every major city up and down this country and you can find a Chinatown. Nobody has got the audacity to walk into Chinatown and say to the Chinese people, oh, you Chinese, you're all racist, you all stick together. Why do you need a Chinatown? Look, you got big China, there's nearly 1 billion of you, you got economy, you got politics, you got weapons, you got nuclear weapons. Why do you need to have a Chinatown in this small enclave in Britain? Because Chinese people are smart people. They're wise people. Go to the Asians in the Asian community and tell them any nonsense about, oh, you Asians are all racist because you all do business together. Whether it's a Sikh, a Hindu, a Muslim, it doesn't matter. They understand self-interest. Polish people just came here yesterday. Polish people got infrastructure all over the place. You go out, you see the Polish man shop. It's not written in English. Kapliński, supermarket. Why? Because the Polish man is wise. He didn't come here to integrate out of himself and become an Englishman. He intends to remain Polish in England. Nothing wrong with it. He makes money, he sends some back to Poland to build up that infrastructure as well. We are the only people. We are the only people who have been miseducated to the degree where we think that to make progress, we have to integrate into somebody else's reality while disintegrating among ourselves. That's not right. That's not right. That is wrong. That is wrong. Many of you remember me from the real McCoy. Can you remember the real McCoy? I was the really handsome man. Mr. Fraser. Wonderful, wonderful, beautiful brother. I'm going to finish in a second because some people vex. But many of you will remember me from that show. You know, because again people say, oh, you know, you must really hate white people. No, I don't. I'm not going to say the cliche line, some of my best friends are whites. I'm not going to say that nonsense. But I know lots of white people. I work with lots of white people. I associate with lots of white people. Lots of white people and I do good business and have social relations like any ordinary, natural people can and should do. I don't have no problem with a black man and a white woman falling in love and being a couple. Natural love, it can happen. It happens. Despite Chinese people, the majority of Chinese people marrying other Chinese people, the majority of Asian people marrying other Asian people, the majority of white people marrying other white people. That's natural. Every now and then you see some crossovers. You see a Chinese with a black, or you see an Asian with a white, and vice versa. That's natural. But when you have over 50% of black men with other than black women, now you're talking a problem. That's a problem. That is a problem. That represents self-hatred and somebody's miseducation to make us think that the way to make progress is to disintegrate among ourselves. That's wrong. And I'm encouraging all of us, be proud of who you are. You are a very, very beautiful people. We are the most peaceful people on planet Earth. Stop taking on other people's labels. Oh, you're so violent. Oh, you're the thieves. You're the scroungers. You're the welfare people. No, we're not. They've even got us believing now that we're the urban people. Urban, concrete. No. We come from rural environments. We were from green fields. We were the original farmers. Now you can hardly talk to a young black person growing up about farming. They're laughing in your face. All they want to do is be a rapper or a footballer. No. We need to get back control of our children. Start having face-to-face conversations again. Back in the day, I couldn't walk away from my dad if he was trying to say something to me and be looking at the wall when I'm talking to him. You've got to be joking. I'm saying, parents, you've got to start talking to your children and make them look at you when you're talking to them. Not playing with their phone. Yeah, mum, all right, mum. Yeah, mum, all right, mum. No, that's no good. Get back the contact, because we're losing touch with the children. We're losing touch. There's a huge divide between the black man and the black woman now.
Go ahead.
There's a huge divide between black children and black elders now. These are problems. And if we don't face them, they will come and bite us. As we go deeper into the 21st century, it's not going to get easier. It will get harder if we don't take a grip and stop being afraid, stop being cowed down. Stop. When I used to come here 20 odd years ago, Huddersfield, the community up here was much stronger, much more cohesive. You remember them days when, you know, you would see another black person and you had to give a greeting? That don't happen no more, right? Now you see the other black person, you cross the road. That's not good. We got too many inter-island rivalries. We don't talk to one another because I'm a Jamaican. This one's from Barbados. That one's from Antigua. This one's from St. Vincent. And we literally will divide ourselves on such trivia, not recognizing that everybody in the Western world, they understand the power of unity. That's why when they speak, they talk about the United Kingdom. Listen to the language. The United Kingdom. The United States of America. It used to be the Soviet Union. The European Economic Union. It's all about unity. But when we talk, it's a Jamaican. I come from Nigeria. That's a Jamaican with a Nigerian accent. Or a Nigerian with a Jamaican accent. Come on, family. We are family. Okay, when they dropped us off those slave ships in Jamaica, in Barbados, in America, and these other places, that was a part of our history. And when they did that, they didn't care what families they were splitting up. That's why today you can put on your TV, you be watching a program in New York, and you're looking, you say, well, that look like Uncle Kenneth. It's real, because you don't know. And by the way, as I finish, this is why also the concept of courtship, I think they're going to ask me to come and say some more words a little bit later, so I'll maybe go a bit deeper into this. But the concept of courtship, you know, the relationships between a man and a woman, we must bring back a much better, more formalized basis of that, because our relationships are not working based on these accidental relationships. They're too accidental. We have to start living our lives more on purpose. We have to do things on purpose. So if I do come back later, remind me and I will elaborate a little bit more on that. But I really want to thank you for being patient with me and allowing me these few words. I don't say these things to antagonize or upset people. I say these things because these are truths that needs to be spoken. And I would be remiss in my duty as somebody who is a so-called household name, seen on TV, whatever, and I'm just up here to massage my own ego like, oh, I'm some big star. Nah. This is about waking our people up. Because I was lost one time. And I feel like I've been found now. And I believe that any of you today feeling a little bit shaky, not too sure, a bit lost, find yourself. Because you are extremely important and a very special person. The reason I dressed like this today is because I knew who I was coming out to see. I was coming out to see some VIPs. Thank you very much.